Dave here, how are you? Now, I don't know what's happening here. I had it all set up. I was supposed to have the chat tracking down the side there, and I thought it was, but not to worry. It will probably come up as we're going along through the show. Now, you might see I'm in a different room here. I'm out in the garage. The reason being, this is where the Sorby Pro Edge is set up beside me, and I've got a camera here that I'm going to swing around into position. The CNC is here as well, and I'm going to go through some things with that first off. I'm also going to talk about a dust port, and right off the bat, I'm going to announce the winners. This is a little bit different to what I normally do. Seeing that screen isn't really coming up, how about I cross over here? It was up there before. I don't understand why it's not there now. As I say, maybe it'll pop up a little bit later on. All right. So how do I get the Stanton bench so accurate? And I'm going to show you how I set the CNC machine up to make it accurate to within 50 microns. That's crazy. That's just unbelievable. All right, connecting different companies' tools to dust extraction. $70 off, $70 US off a Stanton bench in the States and Canada. Luke has got one. I'll show you a quick picture of it. Let's see if I've got it here. There. It had a little bit of a chip out on the corner. And so Luke said, no, what do I do, Dave? And I said, how about we do it as a special? And he said, you know what? Why not? So that one is $70 off, and I'm going to match him. I've got one here. It's got a little bit of a nick in the top. It's no big drama. You know, it's maybe 1/4 inch. It's nothing, but I'm going to do that at $100 AU off. So Australian, $100 off. If you were thinking about getting a Stanton bench, jump in, flick me an email at whichever one you want to. I think I've got some links in the description box below, either davestantonfans at gmail.com or dave at stantonbench.com.au. That's probably the better one, dave at stantonbench.com.au. Do that for both. For the States and also for Australia, and you know, we'll sort you out. We'll fix you up with one. You're going to cop the delivery fee as well on top of that, but you know, it's why not? If you're not worried about the aesthetics too much and want the thing just to be a practical bench that you can use, it will come with all the accessories. Away you go. Some more Pro Edge sharpening. I've got 5 plane blades here, and I thought, how about I show how quick it is. And the slow part, as I mentioned last week, is changing the belt. Well, it's a minute changeover belt. I'll do a quick read down here while I'm changing the belt over and hook in, zap, 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 and you will see how quick this machine is. G6 EYEMUFFs. Now, these bad boys here are the G6. Now, these things have dust protection all the way around the side here. You can wear these with glasses, it's not a problem at all. And the way to put these guys on is you pull the earmuff part all the way to the back on both sides, put it on your head, and then slowly pull it backwards. And you can see I'm still wearing my glasses. I've got a total seal all the way around here where dust drops in. It's not sealing right on the edges so they don't fog up. Combine it with something like this guy here, the Trend Stealth Mask, and you're good to go. So these international, this is an international giveaway, so it's not restricted to just Australia. Jump in and do it. All right. Now, pop this over to the side, and it comes with a really nice case. So if you're in an area that's a real dusty environment, and you want to keep these so that they're nice and clean, it's a great idea. All right. Now, I've been reading down the side here that there's some issues in Townsville, and yes, massive storms, cyclones, and all sorts of things like that. So we are thinking about the people up in Townsville. Stay safe, get out of the way of everything, get into an area where you're going to be secure. All right. What are we going to do here? I'm going to do a quick read, and then we're going to jump onto the CNC, and I'll go through that part. Okay, needs to run a competition, best Stanton bench. Yeah, we could do that. I did say I was going to mention the winner of the set And remember there was two. I'll grab this and this. Okay, so that there is basically the starter set, except for there's two that go in here that have got flat edges on them. I can't find one with flat edges, so I just popped a couple of these in here. So these hold corners. These are just conventional dogs that drop in. These are tall dogs for pushing your rail against. These are little painter's caps. And the painter's caps, John's done that very clever. So what he's done, I'll show you. The caps will go on top of there and lock on, or on the other end. So you can hold things up above your Stanton bench. Don't worry about that thing. It'll probably end up moving. It's just that we used that the show at Canberra, and I wanted to put it somewhere, and I thought best to put it up on the wall so it's out of the way and doesn't get creased. And also what's in the pack, some lever cams. These things I use on the CNC down the side. When I put a full sheet of ply in there, they pull it tight for me. M8 handles and M8 bolt. So there's a couple of those, and a right angle unit here for putting in, and it works the 96 millimeter grid perfectly. So who won? Who won? There's two winners. Two winners. What am I talking to? Two winners. And let's see. We have in Australia, ready for this, Len Starkey, and in North America, it's John Lowry. So you guys, I want you to get in touch with Luke from TBD CNC, and he will he needs your address so he can post it out. And in Australia, Len, can you please get in touch with John Lafferty? And he's already up there on the side. And what I'll do also later on in the day is I'll send you guys out an email just in case you haven't managed to get in touch with these other guys. And make sure, dot the I's and cross the T's. We're going to do some chat and also support the channel through Patreon. And thank you again to everyone who does that. It makes this, apart from being an enjoyable experience, just doing it, it makes it so I can still keep eating, which is, it's quite nice to be able to eat food and buy a couple of things. And one of the things I just recently got was a new external hard drive, because doing video, which is what I do, you chew up heaps and heaps of storage. So I've just purchased a large external hard drive that I'll suck everything off the computer as much as I can off my main working drive, so it doesn't slow it down, and so I don't have any problems with things being corrupted by overloading. All right, what's first? Let's go over to the CNC. I'm going to switch this camera on so we can see what's happening close up. Now, it's also possibly getting the chat. I don't know. Give me a second. I'm going to have a quick look here. And guys, can you tell me if you can see the chat down the side of the screen when I do that? I'm going to have a quick look here. I love those EYEMUFFs. Those lever cams are great. They are. Morning, everyone, from Ian. Ian, you've just nicked yourself with a chainsaw. That's no good. I think it was Amazon. Ian Kerry in the corner. Amazon has everything. Congratulations, people. Remember now, I got them in. I'm there, Ken. Okay, so if someone can please let me know if you can see the chat down the side. No chat. I don't understand why not. I really don't understand. So maybe if I do that. Nope, that's not the one. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll get it sorted. No chat on the screen. It's held. This message held for review. Okay. Just a black arrow. Well, how about we go to the large camera on its own? We won't see the chat this week. That's fine. The chat is on the side. Yeah, KB Woodworks, but that's a different situation. So we've got over there, I have it all ready to go. Okay, I'll just grab those things that I put out in the other room. I'm trying to get through without as much chat today, so I'm trying to make it so that we've got things happening. Now, you'll see here I don't know if you can see me well. I'll flick this camera up a little bit. And over there. How's that? All right. So just here, I can see now. Just here, I've got two Stanton benches, one upside down on top of the other. And I'm demonstrating via having dogs go right the way through how accurate this CNC is. Now, Peter Parfitt's path guide system is very accurate, but it can't match this. It's just, you're going to move your hand a little bit using that drill guide and you'll get the tiniest amount of being out, or the rulers will flex, possibly if you're not clamping them down. There is room for error, but not great. It is so accurate, but it's not as accurate as this. All right, now, as I say, there's two benches. I'm going to rotate this 180 degrees. Now, I haven't tried it, but I know it'll do it because of the way I've set this up. I'm going to look for holes to line up there in no particular manner, and I'm using Peter's standard dogs. I'm not using the TSO dogs because they've got a little bit less tolerance than these guys have. These are pretty tight. I'll put one down in there, and that's not the trick. And I'll use another one of Peter's dogs down in the other corner, diagonally opposite. Okay, that's in. And you can see that they're locked together. So this one's all the way through. This one didn't go all the way through because it was going to hit the bench. Now, I'm going to pick a hole at random. From underneath, done. And I'm leaning over at an angle, so the load is coming down on the side of the sheet. I'll flip her over flat again like this. Any other hole, done. And another one, any hole. And then we've got these things here. Now these are TSO's standard dogs, and I put a handle on them, and they go in easy. Now here's the challenge. TSO have made some extremely fine tolerance dogs, and they have a little ring marked around the top. And these things are super tight in a standard hole. How good is that? I have not picked any hole. I've got the bench turned upside down on top of one of the other benches, rotated at 180 degrees. You will not get that accuracy with anything that's not built on a CNC, or a CNC that's been tuned correctly. So they are horribly accurate. That's beautiful. Super dogs. Now you'll know also that super dogs are renowned for being tight to put in and pull out. Let's try. I'm going to do it near the end on purpose because then if I need to, I can get something underneath to push it out because it's not going to be a problem putting it in. See that? That's one of Peter's super dogs that I've just pushed straight in, and it's stopped about 1/4 inch shy of the other side. I'll show you. So this is the super dog right here, and you see you can't see all the way through it. You're probably not going to be able to see it very close up because of the camera and the resolution, all that kind of stuff. But that is amazing. And they're tight. Now, pull it out. There you go. And all of the other dogs. And the MDF, this is moisture resistant MDF. And it is the most superior product that I've used to make these benches out of. I love it. Okay, so as I was saying, now that I've said the MDF is the one to get, remember Luke's got a Baltic birch, I think it is, or anyway, Baltic birch. I think it's Baltic birch plywood that's got a slight imperfection on it. I showed you the picture. That's $70 US off. They're normally $350, it's 280 US. So there you go. That's just talking about these and a little bit of advertising. Shameless that I am. I'm going to throw these back up here. Get them out of the way of the machine. and I'll show you on the machine now how I square it up. So it's insanely accurate. So 50 microns is 2/1000 of an inch, and that is accurate over 2.5 meters. That's insane. All right, who wants to see the machine turned on and watch it go for a bit of a spin? And I'll do a quick demo. I'm not actually going to get it turned on cutting. I'll turn it on so it runs around the room or runs around the bed. I'll move all these things because the machine and steel don't mix. Funny about that. So I'm hoping everyone's week has been good and you've managed to spend a bit of time in your workshop and enjoy it and make something. Right, this camera here. Power supply to the little laptop that runs everything. The connection from the USB port back to the control box. Open the laptop up and turn it on. And there's another thing down here that is the control box. You'll hear it hum up. And yeah, I've also made a little discovery during the week regarding the machine. And if I want it to move quickly, there's a little override setting. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of it, but it goes great. So what I have here is, I'll see if I can get it around here a little bit. Down here is the startup for a thing called Mach 3, and it's just talking to the machine at the moment. And first thing I have to do is hit the reset button when it pops up. See this little guy here? That's a little safety feature it's built in. And there we go. Now, the machine is way down the end there. I want it to come up here. So I'll spin this around this way. We see what happens. To get it to come back to me really quickly, you push the shift button on the keyboard. Turn that around a little bit so you might be able to see what I'm doing as well. Yep. The shift button on the keyboard and the direction arrow back this way. Why not? Why not, David? Reset. There we go. Shift and here she comes. How cool is that? That's nice and quick. Otherwise, it goes really slowly. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because to get the thing square, I have to get it to come back all the way and over to the corner, and I adjust a little sensor down here. I don't know if you can see that. So just beside the emergency stop button is a little sensor. Now, how I make that work is I hit this button here, which is called Ref All Home. On some of the programs, it'll be Ref Home or Ref All or Home All. Depends on which program you've got. This is Mach 3, so this is how this one works. I'm going to take it over to the... Oh, actually, I'll just let it do it. I'll page down a little bit so you can watch what happens. When I hit Ref All Home, it's going to go back to every sensor. There's a sensor at the top, there's a sensor there and here, and there is a sensor over here. See this green thing? That's a sensor. There's a bumper beside it to stop it smashing the sensor if it doesn't stop for whatever reason, if I've been an idiot. And when it does all that, it's going to say, I know where I am, and I've recalibrated myself. So here we go, Ref All Home. First thing, the Z axis up. Next thing is going to come towards me until it hits the sensor, and now it's going to come across until it touches this sensor, or within 5 millimeters for aluminium. There you go. So that's everything is referenced back to their starting point. So I'm going to shift this down the back again. So see how slow it is ordinarily? If I hit the shift button, she gets cracking. And then down the end and across a bit. that'll do me. So, how I do it. I'll tip this up a little bit here so you can see me again in line with what's happening. I'll come around to this corner so you can see. In Aspire, and you don't have to have Aspire, you could have VCarve or whatever program you have, create a rectangle. So you're going to have 4 points. Now you try and get them as far apart on your y-axis and as far apart on your x-axis. So you're going to have basically a point in each corner of almost on your extremities as to where this cutter head can actually go to. So I set up my program to show it right over there, basically where the leg of the gantry is, right here, down here, and down there. Now, these holes must be parallel to each other, parallel on the y-axis and also parallel on the x-axis. So we have a perfect square rectangle. Do you get what I mean? Okay, so once we've got that, then I put a 1/4 inch spiral up cutter in the machine. And I tell it to go down 6 millimeters in each one of those coordinates. Once it's done that, I then get a 1/4 inch spiral up cutter myself. Give me a second, I'll grab one. Where are we? I've got a aluminium end mill, that'll do me. I get this guy and I put it in the hole that I've created. Now they're a nice tight fit because it's 1/4 inch, the diameter of the hole, and that cutter is a 1/4 inch. Over on that corner there, I've already got a 1/4 inch hole. So what I'm going to do, and this is really, really easy, is I'm going to get a tape. Now, it doesn't matter how good a quality the tape is. It can be a good one like this one. It can be a rubbish one. Does not matter. And we push it out all the way until we touch. We're bumping into the edge of the cutter. So the reference on that tape is now touching, is creating a tangent. It's tangent to the circle over there. And then I come back to here and I measure to the diameter, or to the closest point of that circle's arc to there. So I can look at it and, in millimeters, it's not too bad. That one is 2635.5, close enough. And then I take the cutter out and I put it in that one over there, in the hole that's already been drilled. And I do the same thing. I measure down to here. And that will tell me out, and that was some incredible amount of distance. What was it? It's over 2.5 meters that I'm checking for diagonals. Now, because I'm using the same tape, I have no error. It's the same tape. 2.5 meters there, 2.5 meters there. I don't have to worry about using a high quality tape. Whatever I've got is going to do it. So there we go. I've measured it up, and say I'm slightly out. Say my diagonals are 0.5 millimeter out. So this one might be 2636 and that one might be 2635.5. Well, I need to either advance or retard my slave sensor over there. Now, also, here's a tip. Don't leave these in there. Take them out as soon as you've done your measuring, because you will smash it and it will go flying around the room, and it's no fun. You'll lose a cutter. You lose the cutter in the machine, and you also lose the cutter that's been collided with. I'm going to show you in a second how to adjust the sensor, but before I do that, if it's out, then you advance your grid that you've just created 10 millimeters across the x-axis, so that your y-axis is advanced 10 millimeters. So you're going to drill 4 new holes after you've adjusted that sensor and hit the ref all home button. It's going to come back. It's going to realize the slave sensor over there has said, hey, I've moved. Let's pull the gantry, that side of the gantry, back or forward a little bit by, 50 microns. It really can't be easier. There's no any special ways of doing this. We know how to measure diagonals. We do it on things all the time. We know how to use a spanner, and I'll show you that right now. So I'll tip this down here, or bring it over here somewhere so we can see what's going on. Yeah, that's not close enough really, is it? Let's come in closer. You should be able, I'm not getting any reading done, but you should be able to see just down here. Okay, just there. This is a hexagonal top nut. Okay, so it's got 6 sides. Same on the other side. This thread here is a 1 millimeter pitch. So for every 6 flats are 1 full rotation of that nut backwards will let that sensor go that direction. See, if I back this off, that makes it sloppy on this side, and it can go that way 1 millimeter. Or if I turn it only 1 flat of that nut, it's 1/6 of a millimeter. If I can look at it and say, all right, well, I know the difference between the flat and the point, and I can guess halfway between the flat and the point, well, that's 1/12 of a millimeter. Now, then I could say, all right, well, seeing I can do that, I could probably even, they're big enough, I could possibly even go a little bit better than that and halve that distance again. That would be 1/24 of a millimeter. Now, we're starting to get down to something that's pretty accurate. Now, one other thing that I need to mention here, the conversion from microns to thousandths of an inch is the same as 1 inch and how many millimeters, except for the decimal places moved. So it's 25.4 is your conversion. So 25.4 microns is 1/1000th of an inch. So working on this flat system where 1/24 of a millimeter, I think, is 55 microns. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So by moving this 1/4 of a flat on the nut and then tightening the one on the other side up to take it up by the same amount of turning, I've moved this sensor by 50 microns, which is 2/1000ths of an inch. I don't think I can get it any better than that. But once I've done that, I tell the machine to ref all home. It comes back, sees this sensor here, it knows where it is, and will reset it to being home. So that's how I square this up, and that's how I get absolutely deadly square. And I'm going to switch the cameras over again to there. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick read, but I thought you might be interested as to how that kind of stuff happens. And it's not a brain terror, it's easy to understand. Measure the diagonals, try and get them to be exactly the same, and that's how you do it. That little sensor down there does it all after you've set out the grid perfectly to know the diagonals distance. Easy. All right, I'm going to bring this camera over here now, up against there. Actually, I'm going to move that because we're going to talk about the dust. The dust fellows. Give me a second. I'm going to quick read. Correct. There are 2 types. I'm reading down through here, Barry. Zane, the difference would likely be the starting point is that measured and doing by hand would introduce error. The matrix is brilliant. Joseph Murphy, the earlier dogs had a little bit of movement in them, not a lot. Then there was people said, can we improve these? And Eric and Hans at TSO Products came up with a tighter situation, and to be applauded. They always respond to customer encouragement. I'm reading through. Dave, not very confident in MDF in the humid climate of Queensland. I'm suspicious either MR long term. Do you have any thoughts about that? Dave XP, yeah, do it and hit it with wax. That's what I always say to people anyway. Wax it and you'll seal it. And even do around the edges if you wanted to. Don't worry about the holes. It's going to be, it's not going to worry it. I put some of that MRMDF in a bowl of water for 12 hours, an offcut, and the edges swelled by around about 0.5 millimeter, and that's it. And then I took it out and it went back. So it's pretty good stuff. Offset holes for both short and long sides to allow rip cuts and cross cuts. Okay. In my region, there's only one grade of MDF, no medite. I think they have it in Oregon. I'm in Michigan. Well, are you able to get stuff sent around the country at all? Maybe even if Luke can get a hold of this MRMDF, he could ship it to you. Obviously, built as a bench. I hear KB, I may only have vanilla MDF. KB Woodcock, just do you have the second edition? I'm the first in going. Lowe's seems to have no formaldehyde MDF, also moisture resistant to some degree, but not medite. Similar method, but different for the X-carve machines. Okay, so all right, that's enough reading that. I'm sorry that you guys aren't going to be able to see the chat session down the side here. I've no idea why it's doing it. It's just not. All right. Next thing that I was going to do was show you the dust extractors, or the dust ports. Now, I have a couple of different sanders. I've got this guy here with my little Festool cordless sander, which I got to tell you, this is a magic machine. And it takes the standard Festool hose. This is the one that I've got. This is the hose fitting on that I try and connect all of my stuff to. So it goes on nice and easy, done. That's what it was built for. Now, my other machine that I've got is this little, I've got a couple, but this one here is my Triton Palm belt sander. This is very, very handy because it can go, there's nothing on the side here. See that flush down the side? It means I can get it in against things, and it's aggressive or fine, whichever I want, whatever belt I put on it. And it can fit into things. The swing video that I'm editing at the moment, I show you in use, or using this in part of it, and it kind of ticked the boxes for me, where using the other one would have been a very slow process. This did it quickly for me because it would fit into one of the joints and tidy it up. Now, not going to work. Not going to fit. I don't know why they did it, but it's not going to work. So, I've got one of these little guys. Now, this thing here is basically the same as one of these things. Now, if you're in Australia, you've probably seen these in Carbotech. It's called an M-031. And they're hard rubber. See that? I can squish it and I can cut it anywhere I want along there. It's tapered on the outside and also on the inside. Now this thing is ideal. This thing's very good. So my suggestion is you get one of these and you cut it off right there, just on the inside. Cut it off there, and then you've basically got this guy here. So why do I want that guy? Well, I'll show you. This thing here goes straight into there, and then that is in there. And now my little belt sander is connected to the dust extraction. Works great. That's the port that goes into the back there. I should have turned it clockwise instead of counterclockwise. All right, I can put that down over here. And I'm also going to turn off the CNC, making a bit of noise in the background. Okay, now, this thing also I use on my K4. This is the dust port on the K4. And it goes around that way in this instance. Holds onto it really well. This guy here goes over that end. So now, dust port. No tape. I used to use masking tape and pack things so they jam on. But as I say, these things are great. This thing also works very well. But you have to cut it down to be in the right position. This thing was, that's how it was when I bought it. I put a link in the description box below as to where you can get these things. As I say, it's on Amazon if you're in the States. You can get it there. If you're in Australia, you can get them at Carbotech. On Amazon, I think they're about $8, and Carbatech, I think they're about 11, something like that. Anyway, very, very handy. Get one if you've got problems with your dust extraction system for the small machines, not linking up with different brands. You know, they do it on purpose. I'm sure. There's another thing called a Rockler hose connector system, and I'm sure they work just as well, but they're going to be more dollars. Your call, whatever you want to do. Get something little like these guys, or go for the Rockler fittings. Next thing. I'm going to do a quick read down the side here again. Path system, we're going to make Dave's table, got the plans. Need help with dust extraction on a Craig K5 as it creates a lot of dust. Just do what I said there, Ken. It'll work fine. You've seen that here in the US, lots of places. What's the other one? Fane used to have a dust connector like that. It was great. Okay, there you go. Jump in, grab one of those. I'm going to turn this off as well. Shut that. Push that over there. What do you guys think about this, having the show out here today rather than in the workshop? I thought everything's out here, why not get my piece of paper that tells me what I've got to do next. Half an hour. There we go, we haven't done too bad. We're pushing the show along quite well today. I'm going to read some of the things that people said about the bench dog sets that Yellow Box make. Enable the ideas in my mind to reach fruition. That's from Doug Mayers Coventry. John Everett, bought some of John's early dogs and 2 have broken. Basically, I need more. You know, the early ones didn't have the same density of fill. The newer ones, super strong. You know, that's one of the reasons John sends stuff up to me. I'll run through it and do a bit of testing, and I'll get back to him and say, you know what? Why not? We're going forwards. John's always keen to improve his product. Okay, so Alan Nielsen, just finished making my first bench. Now it needs dogs, so why not have Dave Stanton recommended dogs? Yep, they're good. They're good. Love to win the set. To use my Stanton bench, I'm making off Dave's plans I bought. That was Michael Christopher's. Brian Shaw, you know, there's a heap of things there from Australia. Fantastic products made from the land down under. Well, that'll be someone from the States. Okay, they can provide John's fantastic bench dogs accessory locally to the US and Canada, speeding up delivery. Look, there's a heap of things there that people were wanting them. And thank you for entering. Don't forget, new competition down the bottom for the G6 EYEMUFFs. These things are really, really nice. Very quiet. Joseph, you're learning, are you, buddy? Good on you. Check the screen chat. It may be back. All right. I'll go over to it and see what we can do. I can't see it there. I can't see it there. Hold on. I don't know why it's not coming up. What I might do is minimize that and then bring it back up again and see if that does it. Chat, small, cam with chat. Oh, that one's working. Maybe it will. Fixed it. Thank you, Wayne. There you go. So you've got the chat in the corner now. You can see what's happening. I just minimized it and I've put it back up again and then told the camera to go to another camera and then come back to this camera. There you go. Thank you. All right. Talked about the accuracy of the CNC, different tools, the $70 off and the $100 in Australia for a bench. Some more Pro Edge, the sharpening, support the channel. Here we go. We're going to do the Pro Edge. Bring this over here. Yeah, nice and tight. Swing this around. And if I go to about there, that should be good. We're going to switch over cameras. And there you go. How good are these little cameras? All good. I'm doing another read. That CNC is impressive. I have CNC envy, do you, Joseph? Morning all from Brian. Dave Rollins, yes, now working. Good on you, Wayne. Yes, excellent. Good on you, Wayne. Wayne's the viewer of the month. There we go. Okay, so here we've got the Sorby Pro Edge, and I've still got the small tool rest on it. And I'm going to put the large tool rest on. Now, I just wanted to show you how easy it is. There's a spanner on this side that undoes the nuts. I'm probably working from the wrong side here at the moment. Undo it all and take it off. Now there, that's the small tool rest. You take the spanner and that nut off, and you take this nut off. And because they don't give you two, when you buy the machine, this is the standard rest that comes. And let's pop that in there. And then this one in here. And slide it onto there. Now I thought it might be an idea to also show you, I need to put that in the other hole down there. And Derek has just purchased a Sorby Pro Edge, and I believe he's enjoying it. Okay, that's there, and I need the handle to undo this down here. That one and this one, because I want to bring it upright to show you how to set it. I'll just nip that one up to start. Pop that down there. Okay, now you see here, this is now 90 degrees to there, and I've got a square here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, David just did something without getting totally ready. Found it. Now this is my engineering square. Let that close. Okay, this is my most accurate engineering square. This is a really, really square square, even though that might sound strange. So that, I'll tell you what, that's amazing. That is very, very square, straight off the bat. Now, I want to use this tool rest and guide to hold the plane blades. Now, why do I want that one over, where's the other one? Down here, over the other one that comes with it. Oh, I can't bring it out too far because I'll bump into the, there it is, found it. This was the tricky one last time, over this one or this one. I could use this as a square guide by putting it there and holding a plain blade beside it. It's actually the gouge one, but I could put it there and it would work. But the thing is, it's bulky. This one will also do it, but the thing is, it's sliding on the plate and the back of the chisel would also be sliding on the plate. You follow? So this one here is my favorite because it's actually a carry for the chisel. It sits on top. I haven't got to muck around at all. It's beautiful. I like it. Now we need to get this part here needs to be square to that plate. That's the plate that the belt runs against. Here, I'll tip this up a little bit, like so. All right, so how to do that? Dead easy. Where is, I've been moving things around a little bit. I'm hoping I haven't covered things up because I thought I had got the right Allen key out ready. Now there it is. I put it back in the drawer, it was good. Okay, so Allen key, and we loosen that and that. We get the engineer square, put it there, and I can do this because the front hole here, I'll show you, is slotted. See that? I can move that backwards and forwards to get it perfect. This one isn't slotted, this one is. So I drop it back in the jig, put the square on it, make it dead square, tighten that one up, tighten that one up, take the square off and do the last bit of nipping up tight. There we go. That's easy. Now, with this plate, there was a sticker here that was giving me advice on doing something. I took it off because I found that it wasn't letting that slide beautifully. So when I took it off, this are machined so finely that I needed just to do this for about 5 minutes. I honed them into each other. And then I put a little bit of graphite powder on there as well, not oil, a bit of graphite powder. And then it just started being absolutely beautiful. It slipped beautifully. And that was very important. All right, now I'm going to set this over to 25 degrees. Now the reason being, that's the standard that most people go to. Now if you're using a bevel up blade, go 25. If you're using a bevel down blade, like in my Stanley, so that's the clamp, and then this is the blade here, and the bevel is actually on the underside of the blade. It doesn't really matter if it's 25 degrees. You could be 25 or 35 because it's the point that's doing the cutting. Just as long as the back of your hollow ground or the back of your primary bevel is not lower than the point when it's in the plain body. You got that? They suggest that the minimum should be 3 degrees here between the sole of the plane. So there's the plane. So when the blade is in there, you don't want that. I'll drop it in so you can see it. Now that blade is sticking way forward because I haven't set it up correctly. I need to back it off a little. But just as long as the point of the blade is actually lower down than the back here. So that's the back of your primary bevel. If the back of your primary bevel is around 50 degrees off there, well, it's going to be bumping along and the point of the blade is just going to be sitting up. It's going to be going like that instead of actually cutting. So I'm hoping that I've explained that well enough and it's not all double Dutch. All right, now I'm going to set this at 25 degrees, which means I undo that and then this, back that out and run it around to, and it's going to tell me on the front here, it tells me the angle, and it's the second hole, 25 degrees, and they say it's the main angle that you'll ever use basically for chisels and planes. So it's the second one down on the outside of the radius. So I'm moving that around to there, that's 25 degrees, and then tighten it up with the spanner that lives on board all the time. And that's a little bit awkward for me to do any plane blades there. You know, I don't feel comfortable doing that, so I'm going to lay the whole thing over and nip that one off till I get to a point, take that out until I get to a point where I feel as though that's a comfortable angle for me to work and also to see things, and also so I can get to this second bolt or machine screw to tighten it up. There it is. So we've got this all be set up at the right angle and I've laid it over to where I want. I'm going to use an aluminium oxide or ceramic, but I'm probably going to use the aluminium oxide belts because the zirconium belts are designed for high-speed steel. So this one is there, and remember it's got the direction. I told you this last week. The direction of the belt is there. Slide her in over the top, and when it's there, this is a little lever here, push it forwards, and that tensions the belt. And then we put the side cover on. So I've gone straight to a 60 grit on that. It's advisable to pop this on. I know a lot of people will be tempted to leave this off, switching between belts, but it's not a good idea. I'm going to turn it on very quickly to see how it's going to track. It's off to the left a little bit, so I need the 2 bars that it comes with. and they're up here and here. So I'm going to back that one off, and then I can now adjust left and right with this one. So basically I'm moving the center of this wheel at the end here rises in the middle, so I need to move the wheel across. So I'll turn this on. Whoa, too far. I need to bring it back. Where are we? Get the other one. This way. Other direction. Whoop. I'm going to turn that off. Now the reason that it's gone way there is because I don't think it feels all that tight. For some strange reason, it didn't pull extremely tight. Now the other one I had in it was a zirconian. That's why, because that's not pulled tight. I get it. I get it. I had this backed off too far. There, that's going to pull better. I don't know. Let me do it and see how we go. There we go. I hadn't tightened this up, and because that wasn't tightened up, the top wheel had actually rolled over like that. So I'm going to release it at just a touch. See that? And then between the two of them, I can get it tracking perfectly. There it is. Magic. That's perfect. All right. First blade. Look at this. That blade is rubbish. It's filthy. So I've got a 60 grip belt in there. Put this up against it. That's moving quite well. Can you see any bluing on it at all? It's actually straightening the whole thing up to being square. Let's have a look here. I'll turn this off. I'm going to put that under there. Look at that. You see the grinding that I'm doing is bringing it perfectly square. There we go. Start her up again and do a little bit more. I'm going to get it to track back just ever so slightly. Let's see how that goes. Come on, you can do it. That's good. Good. Okay, keep on it with this. Look at that. It's not hot. See that? It's not hot. It's warm, it's not hot. Beautiful. I'm going to drop it in a little bit of water anyway, just to give it a little bit of a quench. But again, I can hold it. Nearly there. That's there. Perfect. Okay, now while I've got the machine running, I'm going to drop another blade in. Now that blade is my Rider low angle 69.5. And that's truing it up. That's, see a little bit here in the corner? You can see it there. Not hot, but I just have a habit of dropping stuff in the water. That's got it. Perfect. Next one. This is one of my other little block planes, and that's a stinker. Let's give it a go. That's looking pretty good. A little bit more. That one's done. What else have I got here? The main one here, I'm going to undo. So we've done 1, 2, 3. We'll do this one. Give me a second. I better not do that. That's teaching him bad habits. Screwdriver. What have I got? Can't find one there. There must be one over here. Okay, sorry I haven't been joining in the chat, guys. Screwdriver, large screwdriver. Here we go. There we go. This had a hollow grind, but you can see the edges are a little bit rubbish. So I'm going to fix this up. Getting into it pretty quickly. Again, nice and cool to touch. Yeah, I use the cap iron too, but people rouse on me. That's beautiful. Okay, now what I'm going to do is whip that belt out and put the 120 in. So that was the 60, and we're right on 12. So I'll do a little bit of a read. There was nothing else we were going to do today, was there? Basically, what I wanted to show you is how quick it was if you line a few things up rather than do one chisel at a time. This is a whole lot better. Switch to the other camera, like so, and get the 120 belt out. This time I'm going to use the 120 ceramic. These are really long-lasting belts. And I'll throw that off there, this one onto there. Hopefully that one's going to track nicely for me. Whoop, don't put it underneath the plate. Oh dear. Lucky you didn't see that. I was hiding everything because I just put it underneath the plate instead of on top of the plate. I wonder how many people have done that. And switch over to here. I'm going to do one blade at 120 and then I'll jump into the chat and we will say goodbye to everyone, I guess. Pop that on there. And the other one. I'll have a quick read. Where are we up to? Took about half an hour per blade. That's why I put off the sole plain blade chisels. I have too long to flatten backs. Okay, this This thing does the backs super quick. Chisels, yes, plain blades. I haven't found a safe way. That is a nice thick blade. Can't believe how well and quick it works. John is fantastic. Joseph Murphy. How can I say my simple 90 hand drilled jig? Don't want to publish my email here. Thanks though. Ian, Dave, I have a couple of 100 irons you can practice. Thank you so much, Ian. I use iron cap to undo. Yes. I have irons and chisels. You need to flatten backs first. You don't have to with this system. It's fine. You'll stick to the Waterstone for your Japanese kitchen knives. Well, whenever I took it down to a 3000, which is 2 microns, zirconian, sorry, not the zirconian, a Triziac belt, that's amazing. It's high gloss polish. Dave, some seriously sad chisels to drop off to practice on. Flatten backs with the diamond paste on a flat surface. Does it take a long time? Okay, look, how about, we're nearly time. How about I switch the camera and I show you how quick it is to do the backs. I'm going to take that guide out. I'm going to rotate this, move that out of the way a little bit. Around the back there, I should also be able to get into there. Yes. See, even with the guard on, you can adjust things. Bring it up to 90 degrees and tighten up that back one. There. And do this. Whip this up to 90, like so. Tighten that up. Now, the gap here, as I was saying before, is about 1.5 to 2 millimeters between the table and the belt. That is perfectly 90 degrees to the table, as you saw earlier. I'm going to check that the belt's rotating well. That looks pretty good to me. And which shall we do? This one? There's an old plain blade that we've been working on, and I'm going to put it there like so. See that? I'll move the camera to the other side. You might be able to see it easier. How's that? There you go. So we're going to do it there, and you'll see how quick it flattens the back. Nearly finished. I'm going to turn it off because some people will say, hey Dave, you're not getting all the plates. So what I do is I take it down to that bottom hole there. Down to this hole. Come on, in you go. Having just a little bit of trouble lining it up with that second hole. It's not going to want to do it. Oh no, there it is. Gotcha. Hitting the spanner. It's not going to go into that one. Might have to go back to that one. Not to worry. There. Got it. Put the spanner on and rotate. All right. So even though that is tracking there, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be very minimal flex on that wider blade. It seems to be cutting it really nicely. Let's have a look. That's pretty nice. And that's just with a 120 belt. I might ask them and see what they say about something like that. But that looks pretty good. And that was quick. On a chisel, it's super duper quick. Let's have a look at one of the smaller blades. That fits in there perfectly. That's nice. It's not bad. It's quick. It does get warmer on the 120 grit than the 60. Getting better all the time. Nearly there. There you go. And the other side. That's sharp already. All right, I think that might do us, guys. Going to go to the next camera and transition. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to do a quick read down here as well. 110, 33. Expect that holding it on the rest for a bit after grinding would be better cooling than taking it straight off. Yep, put the blade behind the rest if you aren't really careful. Only if the blade is very, very narrow. See, these things, they can't fit down beside it, Derek. So there's a bit of common sense there. If your blade is less than 3 millimeters, don't try that. So there we go. Great tool, Workshop Dave. Belt sander. Yeah, you use a belt sander if you want to, but I don't know if you'll be able to get the grits down as fine as 3000. Maybe not. Shame the rest is not lower as there is no backing plate behind the top edge of the blade. Correct, Barry. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to ask them what the story is there, and they might have some special jig that already goes straight onto it, and so you can do the backing. By all, keep safe to those with crook, get well. Thanks, Wayne. Dave, please tell Carbotech that as a result of your show and their sale, I went out and bought the Sorby system, even though I had ignored it previously. Okay, Dave, well, why don't you let them know? Jump on their website and tell them, or go onto their Facebook page and say it. You know, if you want to, that's great. If I go in and tell them, you know what, guys, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be selling stuff. Nah, they're not going to listen to me. It has to come from people other than me. Thanks, Darren, for the show. Caught my attention on the machine. Good on you, KB Woodworker. And winner of Bench Dogs, announced at the beginning of the show. It was John Lowry in the States and Len Starkey in Australia. I did it all back to front, just to trick the people that come in to watch the end of the show, just to see who won. Thanks, Peter. See you next week. New Stanley's an arrow. Ask me now how I know. You got it caught between the back. Okay. We set at 90 degrees. I hope so. You know, don't know. Next thing, Peter, KB, great show. Ralph, thanks, great show. Ken, great show. Dave, got some photos to send this week. Jay Parra, great show. Sale are up all around the world. Sales for what? The Sorby, is it? Great machine. I'm very happy with it. The good thing about this is it's designed, all the belts are designed for metal. They're not designed for wood. If you try and use this for woodwork, you're just going to clog the belt up and it's going to be rubbish. These are specifically designed with this machine for steel. Okay. Ian, sorry you were late. Okay. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you have a good week. Be nice to each other. Look after yourself. Do what you can to help someone out if you can. And let's see if I can get this happening. And I shall see everyone next week. Bye.